So the other day, I put out a video, which I wasn't gonna put out. 0% of me really wanted to put that video out. But you can see during that video, I changed my mind. And that's because I gotta, take a, taste of my own medicine?
Follow my own advice?
That's because I had to follow my own advice for once. I believe so strongly and have believed so strongly for the last 4 years, 5 years, I guess 6 years in putting out content and documenting the journey. That was how I got started in this game to begin with, was putting out that first podcast that I was scared to put out. I had no idea what I was doing, but that led me to traveling the world, building a business that I'm proud of, meeting incredible people, moving out of my hometown of Ottawa. And, I candidly shared that our business is not in a position right now that allows me to stay here right now. And I kind of touched on that in the previous video, but in this one, I want to talk a little bit more about, well, what's next? What am I going to do? How am I going to react? But before I get into that, something I do want to talk about is that fear of putting that video out. I was so scared, and I had conversations with my business partner, Jamie, about that very idea and concept of we've had a million conversations about no, you don't want to share these intricate details and the behind the scenes of what's going on, because what if that could rub people the wrong way? But that was not the real reason. The real reason was I was afraid to be vulnerable. I was afraid of what this would do to my ego, and what are people going to think about me? Am I a failure? Is my business, am I bad at business? Am I not cut out for this? Am I going to have to go back home to my parents' basement with my tail between my legs? All of these crazy, silly thoughts that I had to check myself and be like, wait, hold on. First of all, if any of those things were true, that doesn't make me any less of a person. But they're not true. That's not what's happening. And if someone is rubbed the wrong way by me being honest and telling the truth, they're probably not the type of person I want in my life anyways. Whether that be on a business front, a personal, any type of relationship. If you don't respect me showing the real of running a business, of going through life and being an entrepreneur, even if you're not an entrepreneur, life will just hit you sometimes in the face, and when you least expect it. And my ego, my identity was so attached from living here in Miami, kind of experiencing the lifestyle, the high life, this decadence, this fancy kind of lifestyle that I straight up can't afford right now. And I went into that a little bit in the last video, but on this one, I kind of want to dive into that a little bit deeper. Now, running a business, specifically an agency, there are a lot of expenses that come out of the bank account before you've even gotten paid. Fixed expenses, right? There's rent, equipment, staff, all these things, subscriptions, transportation, just a million things that you could never think of, but that you just have to pay no matter what to keep the thing alive. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what time horizon we're looking at, that means that we have to reassess how much money we're spending. And for me, that means taking a break from Miami, getting out of here, not paying such a ridiculous amount in rent, $15 for a coffee, and all these crazy things that, these crazy expenses that exist just living here. But I had a lot of people message me from that last video, a ton of support. I swear I got 50 plus messages, and I never get 50 plus messages from just one little video or post. I didn't even think anyone would watch the thing, but I got so many phone calls, messages, voice notes of people who are in a very similar position who are like, dude, I applaud you for having the balls to put yourself out there like that. And a lot of those people even told me they could never do that. And I would challenge that, because yes, you can. I did it, and dude, I've got as big an ego as you know, most people. But I told myself, I'm gonna put this out there regardless and document the journey of unfucking my business. And I've got an incredible business partner who told me today, and I actually never even knew this, but he told me today that he's kind of always wanted to put out that style of content a lot more. And in, you know, one way or another, because of me not wanting to put it out there, he never wanted to put me in a position where we look bad. But to me, after getting this validation of putting that video out there and so many people reaching out to me telling me that that's exactly the style of content that they want, fuck it. I'm gonna document it all. And you guys are gonna follow along on this journey if you'd like. And I'm gonna be transparent with y'all about how me and my business partner and my amazing team are gonna pull ourselves back up and get to the position of living the life of our dreams and having the impact that we want to have. Now, getting a little bit more tactical with it. Number one, we had to slash all of the unnecessary expenses. I have a membership at a spa. That's one of the most bougie things that I spend money on, but I get clients from there, so I've always been able to justify it. It's the place I go at the end of the day in a workout to hit a sauna, steam room, cold plunge, all that type of stuff. And it's been wonderful having that privilege, but it's not a need, right? It's not something I need to have. And it's not something that gets me so much business that it like straight up doesn't make sense to keep. Another thing, I pay for an expensive MMA gym. Cut that out. Don't need that right now. Another thing I did is I assessed how many random subscriptions I'm paying for. I think we're all guilty of this. You know, you sign up for something on a free trial and then you forget about it. That's how they get you. I think I cut like 10 different subscriptions that already in like a year is gonna save me like $2,000, all right? But then I did one thing that I was resisting. And anyone who knows me in my personal life knows how much I was resisting this, but I broke my lease. And that one hurt because I had just gotten settled in the spot that I really loved. You know, the rent wasn't even that insane, but that's just what we have to do right now. We have to cut expenses. So the big thing that I'm gonna be doing for the next 6, 8, or however long months is I'm moving to Latin America. Now I have a you know, a special connection to this one country in Latin America that kind of is a very big part of my journey and why I'm even sitting here today, but that's Colombia. I love this country, and I spent cumulatively over a year there building my business and going through an intense period of focusing on building the business up. And for anyone who is in startup mode, who doesn't have that much money to ball out in one of these expensive major cities around the world, I would strongly recommend considering you know, a city like Medellin, Colombia, to go and find a spot that's a lot cheaper and focusing on building your business up. That's what I did before. It's what I'm going to do again. And it's not that big of a hit on my lifestyle. In fact, I might actually live better down there than I do here. So I'm actually, you know, at first I was resisting it, but I'm actually excited to kind of go down this path because I think it's going to allow for some breathing room to go and fix some of the issues with our business. And the reason why I'm sitting here making this video to begin with, right? And so with that, one of the things that period of focus is going to allow me to do is buy some breathing room, see the forest from the trees, zoom out, be in this mountainous metropolis in like a jungle that I absolutely love and adore. I want to lock in, join another MMA gym for a fraction of the cost. I want to get in the best shape of my life. I want to focus on building my business, but also making content. Something I alluded to in the previous video that I've kind of put on the back seat and haven't been focusing on. Well, that's all about to change because I'm going to document all of this. And in the next video, in this one, I focused a lot about, what we're going to do on the expense side. And there's a lot more coming with that. I mean, I've been returning random things. I've been, selling things. I've been, seeing where can I cut back. Admittedly, not something I'm the best at. I'm very focused on making more money. I'm not the best at saving money and reducing lifestyle and expenses. But in the next video, I am going to focus a little bit more on explaining what we're going to do to make more revenue, but more important than revenue, more profit. How can we sell a service that's actually going to allow us to keep more of the money that we can then reinvest in fixing these systems, hiring better staff, and just overall running a business where we don't need to be in this hamster wheel of constantly signing clients that might not always be the best fit, and then losing clients who, no matter if we do a great job on our end, might just not be able to afford the service. So I'm going to be focusing on all that in the next video. But I appreciate you guys all taking the time to watch this, message me, and share your struggles as well. My whole goal with this is to continue documenting the journey and put my money where my mouth is. I mean, look, we're running a content agency. It's downright embarrassing that I'm not putting out content myself. So that's going to change now. And yeah, just remember, it's not that deep.